name is Bonnie Furlong, and I'm going to talk about urine formation and filtration. So, first of all, we have a diagram here of the nephron. This is the functioning unit of the kidney, and so it begins when the blood enters into the nephron through the afferent arteriole, and it comes into here and into the glomerulus. In here, it's spun around, and the blood is then some of the blood then enters, or exits, I should say, back through the efferent arteriole. And all of that spinning, basically what happens is it allows what needs to leave the blood to leak out into the Bowman's capsule, and it basically hits like a dead end in this Bowman's capsule. So this is a beginning of the filtration process. And so at this point, here we have it kind of filtering through here, and it's not yet urine at this point. It goes through the filtration membrane. Particles are pushed out by an increase in blood pressure. The increase of blood pressure is caused by the decrease in size of the afferent arteriole. The restriction pushes particles through the filtration membrane, and some of the particles that are filtered through are electrolytes, glucose, fatty acids, amino acids, nitrogenous waste, and vitamins. The blood and plasma protein do not pass through, and some of the larger molecules also do not pass through. So at that point, through this filtration process, then we go into some of the absorption. So as this tube wraps around, it's called the proximal convoluted tube, and it's appropriately named because it is pretty convoluted, and is proximal because it's close to the glomerulus. So here it travels through here, and there's more reabsorption of organic nutrients and organic ions and water, and it continues to follow through here and go through the descending limb, and then it gets down here to the loop of Henle. And the loop of Henle, this is where the reabsorption of water happens. This is a permeable membrane right here, so the water so the sodium leaves the membrane and basically makes the medulla of the kidney, the medulla, salty. And when it makes it, as it exits and it leaves the tubule here, then the water, because of the sodium concentration gradient, the water naturally will transport over this membrane, which is hypertonic and porous to water. So we have the sodium leaving, and we have the chloride leaving, and the water leaving, and this is the part where there is, in the loop of Henle, there is reabsorption, and it loops back around, and then we come back up to the ascending limb, and this is not water permeable, so then the water is then still stays absorbed into the medulla out here, and there's the more transporting of sodium and potassium, and it continues up through here, and this right here turns into the distal convoluted tubule, which also makes sense because it is further away, and it is convoluted, and it is a tubule. So it continues to travel through here, and then we have more of the secretion of ions and waste products, and more reabsorption happens, so continuing to draw out more of what is needed and what we want, and leaving what needs to stay and is going to stay a part of the filtrate. So it's going to, at this point, it's still not urine. Comes through this process and enters into a collecting duct, where there's reabsorption of ions and water, and it becomes and then we fine tune the urine here, and this is when it goes into the collecting ducts, this is when we can actually call it urine. It continues to go down and into the ureters, and then into the urinary bladder, and that is the formation of urine.